Good evening. Welcome to our show tonight. My name is Jim McGuire, your host, and tonight we have a wonderful show, an important show. We're going to be talking about the Knights of Columbus of Carmel, New York. It's Council 6318. They've been operating there on Fair Street for some, I think, 43 years now. 43 years.
Yes, sir.
And we have two of the officers with us tonight who are going to talk all about membership and how great this organization is and how they help people in Carmel and the surrounding communities. We have with us tonight the Grand Knight, Jonathan Garcia, is here. Thanks for coming,
Thank you,
Jonathan. And Deputy Grand Knight is Bob Ferriola. Got that right.
Evening, Jim.
Nice to see you. Thanks for coming, guys.
Thank you.
They're going to tell us all about the Knights of Columbus. I just want to say a few things, though, and they'll tell us more about it. It was started, I think, in 1882 in New Haven, Connecticut by a parish priest by the name of Michael McGivney. He saw great poverty there, and he knew that these people had to be helped. In those days, they had like 12 children in the family, and if the father got hurt working, you know, there was no breadwinner. So Father McGivney organized to really help all these people, and eventually it spread like wildfire. So maybe the two visitors would tell us all about that. So I wanted, Jonathan, could you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about how you got attracted to the Knights of Columbus and your duties there, and why is it so important?
Thank you, Jim. My name is Jonathan Garcia. I am the Grand Knight at 6318 in Carmel. Some of the duties as Grand Knight is to see the day-to-day operations, such as helping with the other members, orchestrate events, fundraisers, and also to make sure that we're in part of one with the local church. I've been elected for 2 years, and it's very important to be involved in your community to make sure things are heading in the right way with, you know, defending the weak and feeding the poor. My attraction to the Knights of Columbus was oddly very simple. I was just working at my job, and someone came up to me and said, I think you would be a nice role in the Knights of Columbus. Dennis O'Connor introduced me, handed me an application. I signed up, and the next thing you know, I was thrown into the mix of things. So it's very important to be involved in the church and the community.
Very good. Thank you very much. How about you, Bob? How did you get involved in it?
Well, Jim, I actually became a Knight when I lived on Long Island. I was a lector in the church and wanted to get more active, and I saw these gentlemen after the Mass handing out information, and they handed me a palm card with some information, and I learned about the Knights, and it was an instant attraction for people who want to get involved with the parish and with charity and their community.
It gets you out of the house, right?
Yes.
That's important to get out of the house.
It keeps us out of the house quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder, could both of you tell us about Father McGivney? Give us an idea of what kind of a man he was and how he got started. Jonathan, you want to say?
Yeah, no problem. Records show that Father J. McGivney started out, like Jim said, in New Haven, Connecticut, and he saw within the neighborhood that he lived that some of the men of the families naturally, you know, pass or something dramatic would happen to them, and he took this as a sign of we have to stand united as a Catholic family does within the church and out of the church. So he figured that the best way to do this is to form a fraternal organization and simply just go door to door and, you know, would you like to help out? And that's how it mostly began, from that standpoint of helping out Catholic families in the community.
I see.
And the time frame at which this was happening is the context is very important. We're talking about a time when there was no social support network, there was no welfare, no social security. Labor unions would often provide benefits for injured workers, but Catholics were excluded from labor unions at the time. There were other fraternal organizations that were founded as mutual aid societies that did this, but again, they either excluded Catholics or embraced principles that the church did not agree with. So Father McGivney was looking for a way to have a Catholic mutual aid society that would care for the widow and orphans of a fallen worker. He had this experience personally. He was a 29-year-old parish priest. He actually had to leave seminary when his own father died to help support his family. So the experience of the immigrant experience of caring for the family of a deceased breadwinner was something very personal to him.
Yeah, wow, that's very interesting. Is he up for sainthood, or am I right there, or something?
He
like that?
is.
Yeah,
It is.
he is.
It
Oh,
is. The Supreme Council is trying to, as like anything, try to find certain things that he did in the world to see if he can be sainted.
right.
He's on the road to sainthood. He is known as the Venerable Father Michael J. McGivney. So the cause for his sainthood goes on.
Oh, very nice. And do you know the membership like all over the world now?
Yeah.
Any idea of how many people?
2 million, close to 2 million
Wow,
members throughout
members.
the country,
Wow.
well, and the world.
In the world.
And,
too,
and
wow.
it's spread to the Philippines, Poland, Canada, Mexico. It's truly an international organization.
Canada as well.
And how many in your place? How many people in
We have rostered just in the town of Carmel, 500 members.
Wow, that's a lot. Wow.
Yeah, and obviously they range from, younger gentlemen within their 30s that go up to, older gentlemen that have lifetime members to 80.
Wow. Do you have women too?
Yes, in our particular council, we have what's known as a ladies auxiliary that fall under our jurisdiction, and we have rules at which they fall underneath our chapter.
I see.
The Knights is a men's Catholic fraternal organization, but it's a family-based organization.
Right.
So the family is really integral to the organization. So there are ladies auxiliaries and more formal groups of women known as Columbiettes. We have a ladies auxiliary.
Right.
There are also youth organizations within it. So it truly is a family organization. It's not a men's club.
Right. Very good. Yeah. Could you just maybe both of you tell us what the mission statement could be? The mission statement.
The mission statement.
Basically. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, our mission statement will never change because it's mostly to do God's work when it comes to helping out the need that people need others to help, meaning defend the weak and take care of the sick, feed the poor. So our mission statement never changes. It's one of those orders that we strive on certain principles, which is charity, unity, fraternity, and patriottism.
Very nice.
So.
Yeah.
And we do all that in the context of the church, of the Catholic
Right,
Church.
right.
So we support our priests, we support our parish, and charity is the first principle of our order. And if we have a sort of a guiding, shining star on the hill, it's always charity in all things.
Right. Now there's 4 degrees. 4 degrees.
That's correct.
Could you
Yes.
just tell us maybe 2, and maybe you could tell 2?
Yeah.
First.
First and foremost, we cannot get into detail of our degrees.
Yeah.
Like you just mentioned, Jim, we do have 4. I'll go over the first 2. Our first degree is simply to do with charity.
Charity, wow.
Our second degree has to do with unity, and then, as Rob will explain, the other 2.
Right. Fraternity, and the principle of fraternity is that we look out for each other. As we said, we began as a mutual aid society, and today the Knights of Columbus is one of the strongest and most respected insurance companies. And the 4th degree of our order is patriotism. And in that regard, we get involved with veterans organizations and looking out for veterans and patriotic events. And within that umbrella is the Color Corps. Most people who've seen the Knights of Columbus have seen the knights in their colorful regalia with the
Yeah.
tuxedos, the military, the naval chapeau, and the
Yeah.
baldric and sword. And that's part of the 4th degree, the Color Corps.
And do they go to parades? Or what,
They will do parades. We've done
Funerals?
funerals.
Yeah,
As
definitely.
a matter of fact, our Color Corps served at the funeral for Cardinal Egan last year at St. Patrick's Cathedral. We also served at the Mass where they brought in the relic of St. John Paul II. So it's a honor guard, color guard, parades, but also a lot of church activities.
Yeah. I was just wondering, how can somebody join the Knights? Do you have to be over 18 or something?
Yes.
Yes.
18? So what would they do? They would go to your office there?
Well, they can just go to be honest with you, you can go to any Catholic church, talk to one of the priests, and ask if there is Knights of Columbus within that parish, because most councils are the right hand of that particular parish. And just simply ask, who can I contact to inquire about becoming a Brother Knight? And that'd probably be the best way. Or you can even go somewhere as simple as online.
Yeah.
We have a website that you can go to, www.carmelknights.org, and then, we have the Grand Knights email, the Deputy Grand Knights, and other several offices. One email could open up the door for fantastic words of helping out the community.
And if you go to the Knights of Columbus, the Supreme Council website, kofc.org, there is a council finder. So you can put in your zip code or your town, and it will tell you all the nearby ones. I used that. My son was going to college, and he's a Knight, and I wanted to find out where the local council was, and I found the council and hooked him up with the Grand Knight, and he had some friends up there right away.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice. I was going to ask you, why is it so important to help the community? I notice you help and you work with the community. Why is that? You just feel that they need the help at times, people?
Well, I feel that sometimes in the community, there are people within the community that will not cry out for help. We are one of these organizations that simply want nothing back when we do help you. And you have to understand, Jim, sometimes someone that can't pay groceries for their families might feel a little ashamed or embarrassed. And as a member of the Knights of Columbus, we are non-judgmental, meaning some people might need more help than others, and they might not want to go to the church or go to a friend and ask for, simple things that they need. So as a member of the Knights of Columbus, us being in the community, letting them know that we are here to help no matter what the circumstances, we're always there to help them. So it's very important to know that people can see that we're here and to help free of charge, naturally.
And I think as Catholics, it's part of our calling. Charity is a duty.
Yeah.
It's part of our faith. And the Knights of Columbus is an organization for practical Catholic gentlemen. So we never really separate ourselves from our faith and the obligations of our faith.
Right, right. Why was it called the Knights of Columbus? Any idea how? Why was it like the Sons of St. Patrick? Because McGivney was an Irishman,
Yeah,
right?
that's a good
Just
question.
wondered.
At that point in time, they called it the Golden Age of Fraternalism. Masonic and other fraternal groups were very big at that time, and he actually wanted to call it the Sons of Columbus. Now, they picked Columbus because Columbus was an Italian Catholic working for Catholic Spain, and at the time Catholics were an oppressed minority, and so he picked Columbus to show that immigrants and Catholics could be an essential part of American life. Now, Father McGivney wanted to call it the Sons of Columbus, but he was convinced to change it to the Knights of Columbus to reflect more of a ritualistic and a fraternal group as opposed to because the Catholics were being lured into other groups, Masonic groups, the Foresters, and all these other fraternal groups. So he wanted to kind of have something interesting and engaging for Catholics to join at the time. So he thought Knights was a little more exciting than Sons of Columbus.
Yeah. Sounds good too, Knights.
Yeah.
The Knights at the Round
Sounds
Table.
strong.
Right?
Yeah, that's
Knights at the
right.
Round Table. I want to talk a little bit about the program activity, okay, fellas? Do you raise money for various places like Birthright, different things like that?
Yes, of course.
Can you tell us about that, the Girl Scouts or whatever it might be?
Yeah, we do occasionally have fundraisers, and what we would do is we would gather the membership, and then whatever particular organization at the time would need the fundraising, we would go and donate. We've donated to Special Olympics. We've donated to the Wheelchair Foundation. Also for veterans, we've donated several used items that we would donate to places like Montrose. So, those are just the simplest ways to help out charities.
Yeah, we do direct fundraising. We'll hold benefits, but and we've done. Just last year, we did a big cancer fundraiser where we had a pasta night, and we brought in quite a bit of money. But we also, one of our biggest assets is the building that we use. We will loan that out to the community for many, many events, for other people to hold fundraisers.